It's a matter. It's amazing we're talking about Verlander and Kershaw. It's like a decade ago, and these guys are still among the best in the game. I know we talk a lot about aging curves, Al, but we're looking at a class of pitchers here with Scherzer. And I'll throw deGrom in there as well because I think he has many more good years ahead of him. Kershaw, Verlander, they're still at the top of their game. It's amazing.
You know, and I like it. Obviously, you know, with 100% respect to analytics of hearing as often as I've heard the last few years of age 31 season, age 32 season. I've never really referred to my age whatever season as to how effective a guy is. And now we're looking at what's the AAV on that?
Well, it's a 43 million a year. So, by the way, no trade clause as well.
38 next year.
And so here are the details. John Heyman, I don't know when these guys get any sleep, but John Heyman, one of our great insiders. Joel Sherman doing a fantastic job. JP Morosi as well. 43.3 mil per year, full no trade. Third-year option, that vesting option at 35.
And he'll be 40 next year. 40 years old.
40 next year, right.
So does that concern you? I mean, obviously Cy Young Award winner this past year. It's his third, 1.75 ERA, but he did get roughed up in the playoffs.
Yeah. Look, just throwing a baseball is an unnatural thing. So everything about what we see in Major League Baseball of guys that are throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour, there's a risk. It is. It's an inherent risk of throwing a baseball. Am I concerned? No. I mean, he came off late in his career, Tommy John. And as effective as he was with an ERA at 1.75, a phenomenal year, Cy Young, look, there are certain guys that can change and develop as they get a little older. You're a young kid who throws hard, you figure out, you come up with another pitch, maybe you utilize 2 or 3 secondary pitches. We see it with him with both his slider and curveball. Really doesn't use his changeup. He averaged right at 95 miles an hour. It's a 2-year deal. It's not a 5-year deal. I mean, they need, as you said, Tommy, they needed
that. It's
a
2-year deal at 86 mil.
I mean, it's the price these days to get an elite pitcher. Once again, you're replacing deGrom, who I think is the best pitcher in baseball. This was the only other option for the New York Mets. And as far as his stuff, I agree. He actually came back. He told me he feels like his fastball is actually better the way it plays, especially up in the strike zone. He came back amazingly well from Tommy John surgery. Postseason, he told me he had a lot of starts there. He was going on 7, 8, 9 days of rest. He was out of routine. He told me he got lazy because he didn't have game competition to stay sharp. And some bad habits he had just playing catch and bullpens led into some games. I don't worry about him at all.
Okay.
I go back, and I know there's only one Nolan Ryan, but the Astros said goodbye to Nolan Ryan after the '88 season because they thought he wasn't worth the money. Texas Rangers stepped in. He pitched 5 years for the Rangers, and Justin wants to pitch that long. And Al, you'll love this. I went back and looked at the last 4 times a pitching staff had 2 starters, and I know you love this, age 38 season and above, who were qualified. That means they made their starts, right?
Yes.
It can be done. It hasn't happened in a long while, but we're talking about outliers when it comes to age. I believe that once you get to this point, you've been this good for this long, the way your body is, the way your DNA is, you're an outlier. You know, the rules generally are not going to apply to guys like Verlander and Nolan Ryan and David Wells and these kind of guys who pitch forever. So I don't worry about age with Scherzer. I don't worry about age with Verlander. They've earned the trust, I think, that they can go out there and still be effective at this age.
And I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad you showed the board because I really can't stress it enough. I do think that there's young pitchers in the game, mostly out of some level of insecurity and perhaps listening to a lot of people with clipboards, that you chase analytics. And I'm not disqualifying it. I think it's important. You have numbers and they support what you're doing.
Look at all those notes right in front of you for this 3-hour show.
Be careful, Fred. I got a pile. It's heavy. However, when you get to the status of the guys we're talking about, well, he's going to look at it. I know Verlander, he said he never got on the mound without having TrackMan, but utilize it as a tool.
Right.
And the Mets, while they're heavy analytics now, you got Justin Verlander, you got Max Scherzer, smart, intelligent pitchers. Do you figure out a way? If I look at my line, it's 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs. Do I care that my slider metrics was off? Or maybe even more so when we talk about deGrom as he ages. You don't have to throw 98 to 100 miles an hour, Jake, to be great.
I think the only thing the Mets have to do with these 2 starters at the front of rotation is manage their workload because Max is not the same kind of workhorse. He's thrown 110 pitches in a game once in the last 2 years. He's not that guy anymore you just leave out there. The Dodgers stopped doing that with Clayton Kershaw. He's the better for it. Last year with Houston, Verlander pitched in a 6-man rotation. He's not pitching into the 8th inning every 5th day. You don't treat those guys like that. But stuff-wise, it's hard to say it's as good as ever, Al, but it's still elite.
Well, especially, too. I mean, I missed all of 2021, and then to come back last year and win the Cy Young Award, pretty phenomenal. We'll talk much more about the Justin Verlander going to the Mets. I want to get their thoughts on Verlander, Scherzer, or Scherzer, Verlander at the top of that Mets rotation. Those guys obviously were teammates in Detroit.